Hello BookTube, it's Lee here, and this is my May TBR. So as of right now, this TBR is not going to be super long because I decided that I really want to leave a couple of slots open to pick up things off my shelf or off my Kindle that aren't planned, but I just feel like reading in the moment. But that being said, I do have a couple of books I need to get read for reviews because they're going to be coming out soon. And I also have a couple books left to read for the BookTube SFF Awards. The other thing is that everything on this TBR is really quite long. I think there's only one book that's under 400 pages. So that's the other reason why I want to leave myself like 1,000 pages, like 2 or 3 books worth where if I want to just pick up like a short ebook to break things up, I have that space to do that. So let's get started. The first thing on my TBR is also the only thing I have a physical copy of, and that is Palimpsest is how I would pronounce this looking at this, but it has this P in the title. So I don't actually know how I should be pronouncing this, but this novel is by Catherine M. Valente. I really don't know a whole lot about this. I think there's like a magical or mystical city or kingdom that you can only find if you've kissed or slept with someone who's been to the city, and then I think that transmits a map onto your skin. I think that's what it's about, but I'm not entirely sure. Basically, I'm picking this up because I'm trying to read everything by Catherine M. Valente so I can do an author spotlight, and this is kind of like, well, this is the next thing from her that I haven't read. Ironically, I'm actually kind of moving backwards in order. Like, I started with her newer books, and now I'm moving towards her older books, so this is from 2009. I've read like the first 5 pages. I've hardly started this, but I'm hoping to get to it pretty quickly. Currently, I'm rereading a book by K.J. Charles called Think of England. It's a little turn of the 20th century English country home, slightly mystery, intrigue, romance novel, just for fun. But after I'm done with that, I'm gonna pick up Palimpsest. So after that, I've got 2 arcs that I'm planning on reading. The first one is Raven Stratagem by Yoon Lee. I was super thrilled to be approved for a digital arc of this off NetGalley, and I am really excited to get started. I have no idea what it's about, like the particulars of the plot, but presumably it picks up pretty soon after where the first one ended. I have done a full review of the first book, which was Nine Fox Gambit. I will link it up here if you are at all interested. It's a really cool, immersive, space opera-y science fiction series, and I am really excited to see where the author is taking the series. I also have an arc of the Subterranean Press anthology that's coming out this summer. This is quite a hefty book. It's about 750 pages. There are 30 short stories. The short stories, I believe, are all from previous Subterranean publications. So Subterranean Press, I think, used to have like a little, it must have been like quarterly or monthly little short story anthology that they used to put out. They don't anymore, I don't think. But I believe all of these short stories were originally published in issues of that work, and now they've collected like their top 30 and are re-releasing them in this collected anthology. Subterranean Press published Catherine M. Valente's short story collection, The Bread We Eat in Dreams, which is a beautiful book and a work that I really love. And I'm just really curious to see what kind of other short stories that they have published. Also, you know, I really do want to keep reading short story collections. So since there's 30 short stories in this collection, I figure I'll do like 1 short story a day. Also, the other thing, just glancing through the authors, I think Catherine M. Valente is the only one I've read before. So I'm kind of hoping to discover some new authors who I might want to check out more from. The rest of the books on this TBR are things I'm going to be reading to kind of finish up my BookTube SFF Awards TBR. The first one is The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. I previously tried to read this in March, I think. I read about 50 pages. I wasn't really getting along with it, and I needed to return it to the library, so I went ahead and just did that. Gave myself a month away from it. I'm going to pick it up again and hopefully finish it this time around. And then I also have to read The Obelisk Gate, which is the sequel and which has been nominated in the adult category of the BookTube Best of Awards. And then after that, I am currently like number 3 or 4 on the wait list for A Conjuring of Light by V. Schwab. It's the 3rd book in her Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. I've kind of been reading one of these per month, and the 3rd one just came out in February. So assuming that comes in from the library, you know, within May, I'll be reading that. And yeah, those are the only things I'm planning on reading. I do have a copy of Arcadia by Ian Pierce on hold at the library. That is an incredibly big book though, so whether or not I get to it in May, I'm not entirely sure, just because, like I said, all of the books on my TBR except Palimpsest. Palimpsest is the shortest book on my TBR. Everything else is 400 pages or more. And Arcadia is like this big in hardcover. So I might not get to that until June. We'll see. One of the reasons that I was like really focused on getting his Dark Materials read is because I really wanted to read Arcadia, and now that I finished his Dark Materials in April, I do really want to start Arcadia. So that's not like definitively gonna get it done in May. But I will have a copy of it floating around. And then, like I said, I'm leaving some space open to pick up other things, maybe to pick up some shorter works in between longer books. I threw around the idea of starting my reread of the Magpie Lord trilogy by KJ Charles, but I don't know if I want to do that this month or next month so that I can just kind of sit down and read them all together without any other deadlines hanging over my head. I think that's a pretty good list. I can continue kind of my fantasy kick, but I'm going to be working in a little bit of science fiction. I'm just really feeling the fantasy right now, and I kind of want to just keep it going. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books or if you're planning on picking them up, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.